Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It is Arsenal 1, Brighton 1 here at the Emirates. Officiating is going to be spoken about, but missed chances are also going to be spoken about. We're going to also bring in last night's transfer window as well. Lots to talk about. Lee, let's start with you. What did you make of that? How much of that is for us to blame and how much of it was bad officiating?
Well, disappointing, yeah. I think we had the chances. Should have been winning by a lot more in the first half, than the 1-0. And listen, sometimes you put yourself up for it. If you don't, it was the game's in a balance at 1-0, and then listen, I don't think it's a booking. I think he couldn't wait to book him. He touches the ball, he touches the ball.
Do you think he booted it away though? Do you think he kicked the ball away?
No, he didn't kick the ball away, he touched it. There's a difference. I see Pedro kick the ball away in the first half from Saka 15 yards, nothing. But then when Declan Rice done it, he couldn't. I really can't understand. And then at the end of the day, he didn't even have a word with that fella that's kicked him. It was just a ridiculous decision, but common sense should prevail in that, and it doesn't, And,
can't appeal that now, can we? Either that's
so
done.
He's out for the Spurs game, So listen, poor tackle from him in the first half. We were sloppy in the first half, don't you think? I think, giving the ball away in silly areas and things like that, and then being sloppy with our chances. Saka had a very good chance in the first half for Odegaard. We got the goal. Havertz, very, very good finish. And then, in the second half, we've gone down to 10 men. Listen, we went down to 10 men. My most disappointing thing about it was that we never organised ourselves.
No.
For 10 minutes, we was who's going here, who's going here. Get it done. You should know what happens when you go down to 10 men. Well, then it's 1-1. We get ourselves organised, and we look like we could nick a goal. And Havertz done exceptionally well to get into that. But that's when you win leagues. That finish, because it's a game-changing moment. You score that, you go.
Saka had a chance, overstretching a bit.
Yeah, just stretching a little bit, but great ball from Havertz. Listen, you can't criticise the players. They worked their socks off today, and other teams would come. Brighton are a decent team, by the way. Other teams would come here, you go down to 10 men, and you'd lose the game. So we have to take the pill today, suck it, and see what happens. But 2 points dropped, that's how I look at it today.
Going to the break now, we've got no Marino and no Rice against Tottenham. What do we do?
Well, that's going to be really interesting, because I was just speaking to a fella now. He said, well, you can play Havertz in there. So I said, yeah, well, who goes up top then? It's a difficult one. I think you're going to have to go Jorginho and Partey in there, and Odegaard, and that's what I would do. Havertz up top, but if Jesus is fit, you know what I mean, so might really want to put that. That's what his name should be if Jesus is fit. You know what I mean? That's his new name, because you don't know. If he is fit, then maybe put Havertz in there. But listen, injuries are part and parcel of football. Suspensions are part and parcel of football as well, So, listen, beginning of the game, you've got to come here and you've got to get the result. We're at home, but it's 2 points dropped. That's how I look at it. Massively.
Just lastly, transfer window last night shut. No striker, but Raheem Sterling. Talk to me.
Yeah, look, listen. It weren't ideal, but at the end of the day, it has improved us to what we had. He's got a point to prove, so hopefully he'll do that. He's an upgrade on Eddie and Nelson, if I'll be really honest, but listen, we all know what we needed. I think we needed something else, today. For that game today, if you've got a proper striker up there, what do? You put the striker on, Havertz back into midfield, but we didn't have that option.
No.
And you could see Arteta scratching around. What can I do? What can I do? For about 5 minutes they were trying to organise it. You know what I mean? Because the obvious thing was to put Havertz in there, but they ain't got forward. I thought Martinelli done okay when he come on, looked pacey. Trossard today, apart from that wonderful ball win for Odegaard, flat as deceived when he starts. I have to say that. But listen, it does seem to me whoever starts on that left-hand side does a job, and then the one that comes on perhaps opens it all up, But because they don't seem to nail it. But listen, some good substitutions today. I thought Calafiori coming on, it looks solid. But Gabriel, I just think today, just a little bit of calm in there.
Yeah,
a little bit of calm in there, and you should probably see that out 1-0. But once they scored, it was tough. So, listen, they had chances to win the game as well. We had chances. So I think at the end of the day, you just got to say that, dust yourselves off and go again against Spurs. You know what I mean? But for me, before this game, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I don't want to drop points at home. That's for me. If anybody says about winning the league and losing the league last season, that was it. Not winning your home games, and that's happened again already. Second home game in when we've dropped points.
Facts. Listen, big up, Lee. Absolute ledge. Russ, let's bring you in, mate. I've got to say, today, you and I in officiating, we've definitely spoken a bit about it. Let's not blame it 100% on that, but it was poor from the ref today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seemed to be that any Brighton player was only booked for dissent or for showing imaginary cards and stuff like that. But anything in open play wasn't penalised. It seemed to be really difficult for our midfield to get going in the first half. We seemed to open them up a few times, and then we went 1-0 up, and then we started to dilly-dally on the ball in the middle of the park. Partey was especially guilty, so was Odegaard, then he got kicked, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that seemed to be him he went into his
out of the game, really, after that. Yeah. I wasn't surprised to see him come off.
Yeah, no, that's the worrying thing for me, because, as we've all alluded to many times, we haven't got a decent enough squad to replace these players. The drop-off when people come on is massive. If we've got anyone to come on now, we've let go of all these players like Nelson, Nketiah.
Well, look at the bench today, Russ.
And Nelson. I don't even know what the bench was to be. I didn't even look, to be
honest.
honest.
Lewis Skelly was on it, Ethan Wanyeri was on it, obviously Salah was on it. We had Jorginho, Kivior, Zinchenko. Nothing up top though, only Martinelli.
No game change, as we alluded to before, when Trossard come on at Villa and changed the game. I want to put that to bed now, about Trossard starting games. I don't want to see him starting games, because that's what you get. You get that, what we got today. You don't get any effect on the game at all. He was easily bottled up. He was seen off. He double teamed up a lot of the time. Just couldn't get into the game.
And then Martinelli weren't great against Villa.
Yeah, exactly right. So we've got to have one starting, who's Martinelli, in my opinion, and then Trossard comes on as the impact sub, because that's all we've got as an impact sub. We haven't got anything else.
Listen, if we talk quickly on the window, I know today was disappointing, and the red card kind of changed the game, but a lot of people I've spoken to today very disappointed with the window.
Yeah, first about the second yellow card, it was right over the diagonally opposite side of the pitch to me, so I couldn't see what had gone on. Everyone was going mental, but I just don't know what went on until I see the replay of it. The transfer window is just same old, isn't it? Every transfer window, we don't address the prior problems we've had. And people say, he doesn't want to play a centre forward, so why is he playing Havertz up there then if he don't need a centre forward? You can't just be happy with having one player in that position. That's a position where you get hurt, where you have to put yourself about, and you need a substitute to take the pressure off when he's not going to be able to play 38, 40, 50 games a season, is he?
Well, it might have to at this rate, mate. That's the problem we've got. I mean, we're going to Spurs and we're looking pretty depleted already in midfield. Jesus is still injured. It's not looking great, Russ.
Yeah, 3 injuries already. I mean, I don't know what happened to Timber, whether that was a bad one or not.
We had to come off.
So, it's just the same story, different window every year, isn't it? We've always left short. It's so frustrating. And the thing that I've said before is I'm worried that we'll get another trophy this season. I know it's a bit of a knee-jerk thing to say, but
no, of course.
But I look at the longer picture and I think if we don't win anything this year, players like Saliba are going to go. Real Madrid are going to come sniffing round them and they'll be off. And people can poo-poo it and say it's knee-jerk and you're overreacting, but that's the thing. We have got to win something, and if we don't get over the line this year, the board of directors and Edu have got to be held accountable, because who else is there to be held accountable?
Well, it's all of them: owners, manager, board.
Well, it's not me. I don't buy the players. I come here, pay my money and watch them, and I know what I see. My eyes don't deceive me. I can see the same as you, that the quality ain't there in a squad. It's there in a team. We all know it's there in a team. The first 13, 14, 15 players are very, very good. But after that, what have we got? We'll see at Tottenham, won't we?
We will see at Tottenham. Luce, let's bring you in. How are you? You all good?
I wish I felt more positive about what I just saw.
Talk to me. What do you think?
Do you know what it is? I understand that a sending off can change the entire trajectory of a game. I do understand that. However, when we have chances after that fact and we don't put them in the back of the net, it's hard to be happy with a point. Understandably, yes, we got a point with 10 men against one of the best teams so far in the season, but again, it's hard to be positive about watching that.
Listen, the officiating was not great, I'm going to say, but I'm not really looking at that today as the reason we lost the game. It feels like we lost, but drew the game. I thought we missed a lot of chances today, Luce.
We did. It should have been done in the first half, in my opinion. We had a lot of chances. We had chances, as I say, after the fact. Not ruthless enough, maybe. Like, the passion was there, don't get me wrong, can't put that past players, but just, again, the final finishing, not there at all.
Interesting. I mean, what did you make of the window? Do you think we did enough?
Very disappointed. But the thing is, we get called doomsday supporters, and I've had all this, obviously on Twitter, you get these, I support the club, not the transfer window. I want to see my club do well. That's the whole point. I want to see us win and contend with City, contend with Liverpool, and at the rate of that transfer window, we're not going to do that. And like you said, we're short on the bench. We're seeing injuries. We're one injury away again from it all falling apart and the system falling apart. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm happy with the transfer window, but it is what it is. We've got to get on with it now.
Spurs next is going to be very difficult. Thank you, Luce. Let's bring you in, Albert. I mean, bro, it's frustrating already. We dropped points at home, man. Why did we drop points at home today, in your opinion, bro?
Oh dear, I thought we started the first 15 all right. I don't know what anyone else thought, but controlled it. You saw the patterns of play with Saka and Odegaard on that right-hand side. I thought Saka was sharp. And it just hit a bit of a lull for about the rest of the first half. Brighton didn't really open us up, but they're a dangerous side. They got some good players, but I think it's a case of when Arsenal don't get the first goal. You saw it last week against Villa. We got the first goal. Arsenal were different, completely different team. Teams got to come out against us, but we did get the goal, and a great finish, by the way. Another assist for Saka. And you kind of think to yourself, with Havertz particularly, I've mentioned this to you before, he gets a lot of chances for club and country. And I thought the second half was indicative of when we talk about as Arsenal fans, and people get a bit sensitive and upset, is can we win games in clutch moments? And that chance with Havertz is a prime example.
He's got to do better there, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's done all the hard work done. He showed pace, he showed strength, and you got to finish that, man. Particularly when you're down to 10 men in a game at home where you must win. So it's disappointing, man, it is.
Listen, they got a couple of positives today. I thought Saka worked tirelessly. I thought Havertz did well up front. I've got to give it up to David Raya again, by the way, because I thought he kept us in the game for the third game running? Yeah,
solid, controlled, and you know what, he probably feels home at an Arsenal shirt now. Yes, you had to duke it out a little bit at the start of last season, but he's clearly, Arteta wanted him as number one. Very good all-round performance today. Pulled a couple of good saves. I need to watch it back, but one thing I was kind of saying during the game though is, if we can't get the win, you better not lose the game. And you saw at the end, Arteta was furious with the marking.
Yeah,
he can get angry and emotional, but he's every right to. You can't, we're at 1-1, tipping point of the game. They scored last minute, we lose the game, we're having a different conversation. It feels like a loss now as it is anyway, but like we said about slip-ups of the season, going back to last season, lost 5 games, win your home games. That's only the third game this season, but you've got to try and take maximum points and keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going. But Dan, it's done, isn't it? What can we do? And the referee, of course. I mean, listen, it's a bit of a pointless conversation in the sense that we know refereeing standards in this country have been in the gutter for years.
They have.
Even to the point many years ago where they didn't select any referees from this country.
Yeah. That's a bit of a giveaway, that, isn't it?
Yeah, to referee at a major tournament. But I don't know how long he's been refereeing for, but again, we have to say it. We still had chances even after to win the game, and that's the disappointing thing.
Facts, man. Absolute legend, Albert. Pablo, let's bring you in, my bro. Listen, there's a lot of talk about officiating in the country, and I think it is an indication that Albert just said that it doesn't definitely need looking at. But I'm actually not blaming the referee today for the missed chances. I mean, you can't blame him for that. I understand he made it difficult. We were in control until the red card. I've watched it back. I don't really see if Declan Rice has kicked this ball away. It doesn't look like he's really done it as much as Pedro did. But if that is the rules, then he has to go, and he has kicked the ball away. But let's take it away from that actual incident. I thought we missed chances today, man.
Oh, mate, we missed so many chances in the first half, second half. I'll be honest with you, Dan. The starting 11 or the players that was on the pitch, I don't think they were the reason why we lost today. Or lost, it feels like a loss, but why we drew today. Yeah. I felt sorry for Arteta. He's looking at the bench now and going, okay, cool. Like, what can we do to change this game? Nothing. You got Martinelli, and that's about it. No disrespect to the other players, we've got some great defenders and stuff, but that's it, that's where it stops. Yeah. So if we're going to keep playing for draws, we've got the right bench for that. Yeah. But we want to play to win. And then you're sort of looking going, right, where can we change it? And in terms of the referee as well, my issue, okay, the red card, okay, people will argue and say, Declan Rice kicked the ball away. To me, he didn't. He just tapped the ball. The reaction was worse than what Declan done. So to me, I don't think he should have got sent off. But even after he did, the decisions is just it's ridiculous. I don't know why, but and it's everyone probably says that about their team, but I feel like we get judged differently and get reffed differently to other teams.
Right.
And this goes back for years and years and years. You can go on for so many games and look back on it. So I don't know. To me, it's a bit of the refereeing, bad window where we haven't actually filled the positions in the right place. And funny enough, a day after the window closes, you get a perfect example as to how good our window was. Right.
Well, listen, Odegaard gets a knock, he has to come off. Timber gets a knock, he has to come off. Declan Rice gets a red card. We're going into this Spurs game now, luckily after an international break, which I really don't want, but I kind of feel glad that we've got now. Gives everybody a little bit of time, but we need these players back ASAP because this bench is weak. I mean, we've got one sub at the moment. It's either Trossard or Martinelli.
Yeah, I know. And the problem is, as you mentioned earlier, the midfield. So you're going to go with Partey and Jorginho, which looks like the more likely option, because you don't want to lose Havertz up top if Jesus is not back. So you see what I mean? So you're kind of playing with broken pieces. Because if you put Havertz back into midfield, then what we got up top? You look at Trossard, the way he started today. Like Ross was saying, it's almost like, it reminds me a little bit of Solskjaer for United.
Oh, yeah.
Where
he's a super sub.
Super sub.
Yeah.
Come on and you'll change the game. It's brilliant to have a player like that. But when he's starting, he's not proving his worth.
No.
And then what are you going to do? Put him up front and then drop Havertz back into midfield? And we've seen Havertz doesn't work in midfield.
Yeah.
To me, he's a striker. And then your other option is Jorginho. So you then got a real slow-paced, no legs midfield. So I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult. I'm obviously very annoyed about the game at the moment. So I'll probably have to think about it. But for me at the moment, North London derby, we could be in trouble.
We could be indeed. Cameron, come in, my bro. Listen, I mean, you've heard there, Pablo's spot on really in terms of how injury prone we look at the moment and how the bench is just not looking as strong as we'd like it to after a transfer window shuts. What did you make of the window and then your thoughts on the game?
I mean, before this game, I was more of the impression that I'm going to trust Arteta because he's got a lot of things right, and I'm tired of going on the internet and thinking what Arsenal need. I'm I'm going to leave this job to Arteta for once. But now, after the results, it's it's back to thinking again, and I'm a little worried because we're one or two injuries away from a crisis, to be honest.
Yeah, we are. And I go into that Tottenham game now thinking, who's going to start in midfield? With Marino out now, Declan Rice now suspended. We're relying on Jorginho and Partey, two of the oldest people in our squad, to be fit for that game.
Yeah. I mean, Partey is injury prone. Jorginho is, up there in age. I guess maybe for a one-off, I'm not too worried because, once Declan Rice comes back, and I think Tottenham is one of those games where it's just all passion at that point. It's not about, you could put one of the bench players in. It's whoever who wants it more to me. Tottenham could be facing relegation. We could be top of the league. Both teams are going to be, it's 50-50.
Form goes out the window, of course. Listen, let's talk about the game very quickly. What, in your opinion, was the reason why we dropped points today?
I don't want to say the referee, even though he was horrendous. We should have took our chances. It was just plain and simple. And sometimes with this team, what worries me is we switch off sometimes. It's a little moment of just complete complacency, and attention goes out the window, and we all feel it. We can see it in the stadium, and we're just telling everyone, the team, to wake up, and that's what worries me. And the 10 men, I don't know if we probably should have played more. I don't know if parking the bus is the right term, but maybe back to the old school, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Get that scrappy win. Doesn't always have to be beautiful.
Well, it wasn't beautiful in parts today, that's for sure. Listen, people, make sure you do us a favour, make sure you like and you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.